listening to Inside Real Estate, your source for all things mortgage and real estate related. The show that brings you all the hottest topics and insights directly from those who know it most. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show. What is up, everyone? Paul Apostolakis, Salvatore Kuzmano, Brad Wise-Gerber. We are the trio of Inside Real Estate. For those of you that are finding us, thank you for logging in and checking us out. For those of you that want to find us, we're at irepodcast.com. You can go to Facebook/IRE Podcast. You can go to YouTube. You can go to any podcast app to follow us. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to not miss an episode. Today, we have a very special guest, one of my favorites. It's Mark Shaftner from Keller Williams Domain here locally. Mark is one of the top agents in the area, and he does a really fantastic job with a lot of things, including social media. So we'll talk to him a little bit about that. We'll talk to him about the market and what he's seeing. First and foremost, though, we were supposed to get hammered with snow. We did not.
Fake news.
Fake news. Fake news.
Big sham.
Big sham. The Detroit area was supposed to get 16 inches of snow.
I think to be fair, it's just starting. But
it maybe. Yeah.
I like to say it's a sham.
It's a sham. If we get less than 10 inches, it's a sham. It's a sham. If we get less than 10 inches, it's a sham.
Paul doesn't like anything less than 10 inches.
Wow, man.
All right. Without further ado,
let's get Mark on the show. Mark, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, good. Are you snowed in, bud?
I'm looking out the window at my home office here at just a light dusting of snow that's starting to come out.
Yeah.
A bit of a sham here. You know what I found was interesting is my girlfriend's daughter, who's in 6th grade.
Yeah.
They called her school yesterday at 5 p.m.
Correct. So did
my kids too at 5.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when we were kids? You had to wake up you
had to turn on channel 7 and see the scroll.
It was playing on the bottom right. Yeah.
Yeah, you had to go on and listen to the Michaels in the morning or whoever.
It's just more fear mongering, man.
And then find out if your school was canceled. You lace your boots up, after you got ready for a half an hour, and then school would get canceled.
Yeah, kids today are soft, dude. They're soft.
It kind of reminds me of.
They really are soft.
How everything is with interest rates.
Oh,
rate hike coming.
Nice segue.
All right, everyone go nuts in the market and actually raise rates before they even hike them.
Nice segue, bud. Yeah. Affordability's down because of a sham.
Yeah, fear mongers.
Mark, welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the show. How have you been? I know you've been on the show before. How have you been since?
It's great to be back. Things are good. We are in, a really interesting real estate market. I know what you guys are feeling with mortgage rates is also very interesting, somewhat unpredictable. But since the last time I was here, things are good, and I'm very happy to be back.
That's awesome. Good. So, Mark, in today's market, what are you doing? I mean, I know that you do a lot of great social media stuff. What are you doing to set yourself apart from the pack? Because, dude, everybody's a realtor. Everybody's looking for that buyer. Buyers can't find houses, but real estate agents still have to find ways to set themselves apart from the pack, right? What are you doing to do that, and how is that translatable to maybe a new agent?
It's a really good and a very important question. We all know it's pretty easy to get a real estate license.
Fairly, yeah.
It's a 40-hour class and a C- on a 100-question test, and poof, you're allowed to go sell real estate. You're allowed to help people with their most important investment. And that is another sham because this is a very hard job. It's buyers and sellers alike both have a lot more information than they ever had before in the past. In the past, we had this book of information that we had and nobody else had. Well, those days are long gone. So us as real estate agents have to work a lot harder to create value for our clients, buyers and sellers alike. And it really comes down to knowledge, knowing the markets that you do business in, and down to the there are macro markets and micro markets. You've got your cities, and then your cities there's neighborhoods within the neighborhoods, and it's down street to street and house to house.
Yeah.
And understanding the inventory in your market, if you're helping somebody sell their home, the differences between their home and their neighbor's home and the homes, 2 or 3 streets over, it can be a completely different market.
Yeah.
So understanding the market, understanding the inventory, understanding the real estate, understanding market trends, what's happening, what buyers and sellers are both saying, and where we see the market going 3, 6, 12, 24 months from now are all ways that we can help our clients become more educated, be more educated ourselves, and bring value to our clients.
Yeah, I mean, real estate is up 18% year over year. Is that something that you foresaw? You know what I mean?
No, I didn't. Actually, as a matter of fact, if you go to my YouTube channel, at the beginning of the year, I do 4 real estate hot takes. And one of the hot takes that I got wrong last year is that we would see single-digit appreciation, and we didn't. We saw, like you said, what was it? Between, depending on the city that you're in, 14 to 16% appreciation. So that was something I was wrong about. And anybody that owns a home or purchased a home last year is pretty happy about me being wrong about that. I think that this year we're going to see appreciation again. Some people are calling for a real estate market crash. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I think we'll see appreciation, not quite as much as we did last year, probably somewhere in the single digits. Experts, a lot smarter than I am, are saying, probably somewhere between 5 and 7% appreciation in 2022.
Yeah. I wouldn't be blown away though, Mark, if we got 12% appreciation, if we got in the double digits. I really wouldn't, because of the inventory problem. And I think that's really what's going to drive prices higher, if there's anything that's going to drive them higher. Obviously, rates have gone up, but I still think interest rates at 4% make real estate a lucrative opportunity still.
I agree more.
What makes you say so? I mean, I agree with you, but what makes you say we're not going to see a real estate market crash, right? Because that is floating out there a lot, and I agree with you that we're not. But what's your reasoning behind saying that?
Well, Brad, I believe you were selling mortgages back in 2008, correct?
Yes,
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Okay, so you and I, you were doing mortgages. I was doing real estate back in 2008. I remember very specifically back in 2006. I worked for a builder. I worked for Pulte Homes. That's where I started my real estate career. And I remember very specifically in 2006 getting this feeling that this was a house of cards, that this was not going to continue like it is. Because there were so many people that were purchasing homes that ultimately couldn't afford them. That,
right.
Hey, if this payment, if your interest rate adjusts, if there, and people were buying these, adjustable rate mortgages, negative amortized mortgages. So basically you were just, the principal of your home would go up.
Yep.
The principal of your loan would go up, but at the time the values of the home were going down. And I remember very specifically, and I was probably 27 or 28 at the time, thinking, okay, this is a house of cards. This is going to crash. And in Michigan, it happened a little bit sooner than it did in the rest of the world, in the rest of the country, I should say. And things really started to decline in 2007 before ultimately the crash in 2008. And in 2008, what we didn't have was a housing crisis. We had a mortgage crisis.
There was a mortgage crisis. I agree with that.
Right. And what we have now is very different. What we have now is we have an inventory crisis. There are far more buyers than there are sellers. And this isn't just because of the pandemic. Household growth, if you actually look at the numbers, has been outpacing construction since 2010. New construction homes, builders throttled way back from 2010 through now. And, household growth was outpacing construction, and it has been. Then the pandemic hit, and the way we lived in our homes became very different. And that's what's exacerbated the problem over the past 2 years. So right now we have a very simple supply and demand, and supply is far outpacing demand. Construction pace is far slower now. It's taking 18, 24 months to build a home, depending on the size of it, maybe even more.
Mm-hmm.
On average, the cost of construction, the cost of materials, the cost of labor is up. So it's going to take a while for those things to correct themselves while buyer demand is still going to be there, even with interest rates ticking up. Interest rates ticking up, I think you guys would agree, is a good thing. So until this inventory shortage corrects itself, I think we'll see price appreciation continue to go up.
How bad is inventory right now?
Depending on the area, it's pretty bad, I guess you could say, but it's also seasonable. Like, for example, I live in Beverly Hills. We are sitting on 2 weeks of inventory in Beverly Hills. There are 11 homes for sale in Beverly Hills.
Right.
11.
11.
So, and a lot of people talk about months of inventory. Let me just explain what that is in case you're listening and you don't understand. So we have 2 weeks worth of inventory right now. There are 11 homes. So if no other homes came on the market in 2 weeks, there would be nothing. There would be zero inventory. Some areas that's 1, 2, 3 months. Actually, there's probably no area in Southeast Michigan where there's 3 months worth of inventory. But it's pretty bad. It is seasonably low. I think a lot of people are waiting for the spring market to list their homes. We go outside, we get our decks. Like, it was 47 degrees yesterday, and there were people walking dogs and riding bikes all over the place.
Yeah.
We get above 40, 40, 45, 50 degrees, people start to go outside. You're going to see inventory pick up.
I think so. I think people are waiting to put their houses on the market right now. They want it to look nice. They want to have their landscaping look good. The house shows better in the spring. It really does, especially here in Detroit, where we get snow and ice and rain and cold, right? With single digits in the air. I mean, it's hard to get people to go look at houses. Although the people that are looking at houses right now, Mark, they're pretty serious.
Couldn't agree more. And I have several active buyers that are out in the market looking right now. And the best homes are selling in a matter of days, and they're selling with multiple offers. Right. So, any seller that is thinking about waiting until spring, I would encourage them to consider listing right now, because inventory is so low. You have less competition from other sellers, and you can take advantage of pent-up buyer demand. People are ready. They are out there and they're ready to pull the trigger. I'm working with 18 active buyers right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 18 active buyers. Yeah, that are just kind of looking around.
That's just little old me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about these big mega teams. They have hundreds and hundreds of buyers that are looking at the same house and buying them. So anybody that's a seller out there,
I mean, you have 18 buyers, and where you're at, there's 2 weeks worth of inventory. I mean, you could eat up that inventory yourself. Right?
That would be nice, actually.
Right? There you go. But it's tough, man. It's a weird market. And with rates going up, do you think that's let's say rates keep going up, do you think that's going to stymie the housing market, hurt affordability? Or do you think it's going to just be a non-event when we're talking about home purchases?
Obviously interest rates going up hurts people's ability. The home affordability goes down.
Yeah.
But, something that most people don't think about, and I think because we're in the market so much that we pay a little bit closer attention than actual consumers do. But a half a point rate hike on a $300,000 mortgage is less than $100 a month.
Correct.
So, listen, and that would mean your purchasing power goes down by about $10,000.
Correct.
Instead of spending $350, you can spend $340 now. So I don't think it's going to have a huge impact on people's ability to buy a home or their desire to to buy a home. I don't think anybody's going to go, screw it, I'm not going to buy now.
Yeah.
Their criteria might just change a little bit. And I certainly, if anybody is in the market to purchase a home, I would not say don't buy a home. I would not say wait a year or 2 or 3 years until the market corrects or prices go down, because you're going to miss out on the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Some are saying 5 or 6 of appreciation if you decide to wait.
Well, plus the price of money is only going to get more expensive, I think, especially with inflation around and a few other things. The price of money is kind of where it's at. And if you wait 1, 2, 3, 4 years, but now rates are 5-6%, you've just lost out on all that buying power.
Absolutely.
right?
100%
I mean,
correct.
even if the payment's doable, right, your ability to build equity is stifled a little bit, right? So, I mean, I think that's going to potentially, I don't think it will hamper buyers, but it may push sellers who want to buy, right?
Yeah.
To list their homes because, all right, well, I do want to buy another home before rates go to 4 or 5%, right? So
Right.
it's
Well, if you look at the last 2 years, Sal, if you would have purchased a home 24 months ago, you'd be sitting on 60. If you bought a $250,000 home, you'd probably be sitting on $50,000-$60,000 worth of equity.
Correct.
I think we're going to be having that same conversation 2 years from now. And, interest rates might be 4.5%, 5%. Who knows? I can't predict that. None of us can.
Right.
But interest rates if I was to place a bet, I would say they'd be higher, and you'll be not $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 equity richer if you decide.
Yeah. What does the spring look like, Mark? Is it going to be pandemonium? Is it going to be just crazy, or is it going to be like just kind of like status quo, what we've seen over the last few years?
Yeah. I think it's going to be pretty similar to what we see last year, where there were, inventory picks up, but still not enough to meet demand. And the reason why I say that is because last January, February, and March were very similar to this. It feels very similar. A lot of buyers, very active in the market, not a lot of inventory. The good homes that come on the market sell very quick for multiple offers.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of people, both buyers and sellers, that are gearing up to list and people that are gearing up to buy. I know I have several clients of my own that are doing exactly that. So I think that this spring is going to be another very busy market for real estate, for buyers and sellers. I think it's going to be good for both because interest rates are still low, and sellers, your prices are up.
Yeah. Sal, are you seeing more pre-approvals kind of picking up?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's active, right? People are busy. They want to get ready. Not all of them are like, yeah, I'm ready to buy right now, but they want to get the process started.
Right.
So to your point, Paul, it's kind of nasty out right now, right? I mean, I walked outside and was like, ugh.
Yeah. It's gross.
Nasty. Like dirt. Like, I mean, yeah, like they were doing some work on my street. It's like muddy, nasty. Like I wouldn't want to buy my home right now. Like,
shit's dead everywhere. The
like
shrubs are all
farm,
just like branches.
Yeah. But, once, like you said, right, 45, 50 degrees. Yesterday, people were walking. We were out on the roof of our office throwing snowballs, like no coats. It was like really nice, right? And now, like the big farce, aka the Snowmageddon, is on its way. So we'll see. But
yeah, Michiganders are like caged animals when it gets to 45 degrees.
Yeah, well, yeah, you see shorts outside, tank tops, like
people dropping the tops on their convertibles,
And then if you go to like LA and it's like 65 degrees, people wear
fur coats, dude.
Yeah,
full fur coats is what's happening in Miami and LA right now. So it's totally different. So Mark, you do a really good job with your social media. Talk to me a little bit about how that plays a role in what you do on your day-to-day. Is it just more for fun, or is this something that you actually are getting traction with?
Yeah. Well, thanks. I do spend a lot of time and put a lot of energy into two things on social media specifically. I do use as a tool, I use Instagram, Instagram Reels, IGTV, and just Instagram posts. And I do a lot also on YouTube, which are longer form videos. So I kind of look at Instagram Reels and IGTV as, well, more so Instagram Reels as kind of the appetizer of the things that I want to tell to my clients. And I look at IGTV and YouTube as the main course. So you'll get a bite size over here. And if you want, more content, you want 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes to know exactly what's going on in the market. You head on over to YouTube or Instagram TV, IGTV. Those are two pillars of my marketing strategy that are tools. They're not, and I'm kind of speaking to real estate agents. Those are not the only pillars of what I do to market. If you're solely relying on Instagram and the people that you follow that follow you on Instagram as your marketing tool, you're probably not going to be very successful. I also do direct mail. And one of my things, and this is very old school, especially considering I've been in real estate in a few different capacities for about 18 years, is I go out and I door knock. I walk around my neighborhood, I meet my neighbors, and I will hand them a very specific, on a micro level, a real estate update for our neighborhood. And that's been very good for me. And then, of course, too, I do a lot of just old school. I call my past clients and I call my sphere of influence, and I give them the knowledge that I gain, that I know, and that I think is important in the real estate market. I mean, everybody that owns a home is up. So who doesn't want from a licensed real estate professional to know how much their home is worth? So I call them and, ask them if they'd like to know. They don't have to sell, but I like to tell them how much their home is worth. But the social media stuff is a lot of fun. I've always been a creative person, and I get a kick out of, finding something that might be educational and using Instagram or YouTube as a way to communicate it in a fun and entertaining way. And I try to post no less than 1 and as many as 3 Instagram reels per week. And I do put out a minimum of 4 YouTubes and IGTVs per month.
Wow.
I can just imagine being Mark's neighbor and him coming over and closing the door and be like, yeah, the neighbor apparently doesn't want us to be in the neighborhood anymore. He wants to get the hell out of here and
sell your house. Yeah. The door knocking works for Mark because he's fairly attractive. Like, Brad came to my door, I'd be like, Brad, you used to do door to door, right?
I did. I was very successful at it.
You were. That's surprising.
Well, I mean, even if you provided the value, right, of going to one of your neighbor's houses and saying, hey, your house is worth X, right? I don't know what you owe, but, whether you're looking to sell, maybe, looking for home improvement loans. I know people, I'd be happy to help you out, right? I mean, even if they stay and they wanted to build that pool or whatever it is, right? They just didn't know what their home was worth.
That is a great point, Sal. And, I think real estate agents don't even think about that. They're just, so often just focused on, I got to find a buyer, I got to find a seller. But my neighbor right over there took out a cash out refi about 6 months ago because they decided they're not going anywhere. So they pulled $80,000 worth of equity out of their house and they did a complete remodel. Now, a real estate agent can't forget that, hey, I can provide that value. You guys are staying put. Well, shoot, your equity is up, in this neighborhood on average $65,000 over the past 2 years.
Right.
You might want to think about, and this is just an idea, pulling some of that equity out. I don't know if you have credit cards or student loan payments, or if you want to do some improvements to increase the value of your home, you can do that now. And then you get them over to the guys over at Omega Lending, and
we'll take it from there. Yeah.
And when they do sell, they'll call Mark.
Who do they think about?
Yeah. Because you added value, Mark. You added value. That's all about adding value, right? Like,
I think to your point earlier, right? Like, it's like, okay, like getting a license. It's like getting a hunting license, right? Like, you just go and you sit in the woods. Like, you may get lucky and find a deer or whatever, right? But like, you got to put in the work. You got to, do all the things that successful hunters do, right? Like, I'm a bad hunter. I go and I drink beers and, hang out in the woods. I don't even think I got bullets in my gun, right? But like,
I agree with you, Sal. I think it was Michael Scott who said you take 100% of the shots that you don't take. Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wayne Gretzky.
For my Office fans out there.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it is interesting. So like, a lot of people are trying to do social media, but the consistency of action, I think, is where people miss it. You can't just do it on I made one video here, I made one video there, I did this thing here. It's the consistency of action of all of that stuff put together, right?
It is. So to anybody out there that's a real estate agent and they're thinking about doing this, listen, there are a lot of ways to generate leads, to market yourself. to get in front of people. I mean, shoot, even another thing I do is I go out to dinner a minimum of once a week and sit at the bar. And my goal is to speak to the person on the left of me and the person on the right of me and the bartender, because all three of them are interested some way, I guarantee it, in real estate. You get to chatting, and it's a very American thing to say, well, what type of work do you do? And my answer to that is, I'm in real estate. And then people say, oh, okay, well, what do you do? And I say, oh, I'm a real estate agent. I help people buy and sell homes. Pretty simple, straightforward. And then that just leads to a conversation. So, but to jump back to the social media stuff, yes, I believe strongly that if you want to make social media one of the pillars of your marketing strategy, how you're going to remind people that, hi, I'm a real estate agent, how you're going to create value for people, you have to be consistent with it. You have to commit to doing something, every week. Some coaches say you should story every single day. You should do, 3 reels per week and 1 to 2 posts. Right. I don't even do that much, but you have to commit to a schedule. And to anybody out there that's also thinking about doing this and going, oh my gosh, I'm scared. What if it's bad? What if it's not good? That's okay. You have to have what I call, and this isn't mine, an FFT, a fucking first time. And your fucking first time, you're gonna suck, and that's okay. You will get better at as time goes on. Sometimes I go back and look at some of my first reels. I look back at some of my first YouTubes, and they're bad. They're terrible, and they're not even great now, but they keep getting better. So commit to a schedule, commit to doing something, and do it, and you will become better. And be yourself. I should say, be yourself. That's the other thing. You're not going to be me. You're not going to be Glenda Baker. You're not going to be Taya DeCarlo. You're not going to be some of these people that are doing it at an extremely high level. Just be you. Your clients are going to hire you because you're genuine, you're smart, and they like you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like authenticity will win. So even if you come off a little shy or a little uncomfortable, it's okay. Like that's
care.
Yeah,
your cell phone goes off in the middle of it twice. And
you're calling me out of my cell phone.
Amateurs.
I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah, my ringer was on. My apologies.
Twice now. The first time you would have turned it off.
I didn't think anybody else was going to call me back.
Don't you have to pay $10 for that?
$10. It's like a swear jar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a swear jar. But social media has become bigger and bigger. I mean, I know a lot of agents now. If I'm a new agent in today's market, I mean, is this market worth getting into, Mark? You know what I mean? Like, it's so competitive. It's so hard. And we're seeing people leave the industry more than anything, I think, than coming into it. But people are still coming into it. People still want to do real estate. People still want to be in the profession. How hard is it to get started right
now? This is not an easy job. I think that's a common misconception. I think that a lot of television shows and things like that out there. You've got house hunters where the people just go out and they're a basket weaver and a blogger, and they've got a $3.4 million budget. So it's not really like that. And I joke, but most people know that. But this is a very hard job, and the stakes are very high, and it's very easy to break into. But it's a great industry. It's a great career. It's often a wonderful thing to be a part of when you're helping somebody buy a home or they're selling a home, because sometimes it's because now they can afford it. They're trying to get to a better school district. They're having a baby. They're trying to downsize. They're moving to a new area. So more often than not, it's for a very good thing. So it can be a very rewarding career in that respect. But it is also very difficult because especially at first, you have to do everything yourself. I wouldn't discourage anybody from trying to get into this industry. I would just, know coming into it that it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of time, a lot of dedication. You got to be willing to fail. You got to be willing to learn, and you got to be willing to pick yourself back up and keep going, because you will get knocked down.
Yeah, that first year in real estate's always. I mean, even in our profession as loan officers, that first year is really tough. I mean, you get beat up a lot.
I think
Yeah,
like
4 out of 5 real estate agents are out of the industry within 3 years.
Right.
I
Right.
think
That's a
going out on
staggering
your
number.
own and going self-employed is like, being like, really out of shape and saying, I want to get ripped. Right. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, if you just go to the gym and you just like knock it out, the next day you're just going to be sore.
Right.
You're not going to be ripped, and if you quit,
Right.
and then it's just
Like in the
suck.
year of working hard, right? You may get lucky more than once. I would say, success is probably getting lucky twice, right? Like that would be something that you could say like, wow, I did something and there was a result, right? And doing that and having repetitions. And, it's weird, right? Like you look back and you're like, how did I end up like surviving this and thriving in it, right? But I guess people don't really see all the like, shit, I'm at a wedding or something and you walk away and take a phone call, right?
Yeah.
There is no 9 to 5 or, clock in, clock out. Lots of sacrifices that, you got to be ready to take if you want to get in this business. And people ask me all the time, right? Oh, dude, I want to come do loans. Okay. I don't think you do, but but I'd be happy to help. But,
I don't think you do. I really don't.
I mean, it's tough.
Well, I'd love to give you a good example here. There's a gentleman that works at Holland Hunter in Birmingham. His name's Evan Treehorn. If you haven't had him on the podcast, you definitely should, because he's awesome.
We haven't. I'm in on it.
His first year in real estate, the guy did 60 open houses. 60 open houses. And I was like, dude, there's only 52 weeks in a year. And he's like, yeah, I know. There were some weeks when I was doing open houses on Saturday and Sunday. And I think he did something, pretty impressive. I think he did something around, and don't quote me, like 8 or 9 million his first year. In 3 or 4 years down the road, he's one of the top producing agents in the area. So it was a sacrifice for the first year, and it always is. But if you do the work, anybody can be successful in real estate or loans, right?
I think in anything, honestly, like you said, right? Like you don't go to the gym and like just get ripped. There's no like surgery to actually make you muscular. You can't pay for it. You know what I mean? You
get implants.
Yeah, you look like
a
complete donkey. But yeah, I mean, the work in anything, right? Even, climbing the corporate ladder, typically you don't just sit there and get hand-me-outs. It might seem like that, but someone's doing something right usually. So it's
if it were easy, everybody would do it, and everybody would be successful.
Yeah.
So
I think it's probably funny. I would bet that like, maybe, I don't know from the real estate side, but I know from the mortgage side, sometimes like loan officers want that they're like, just become a realtor and make fat rips, 3%. Come on, bro. I'll go fucking show homes, but it ain't easy. I think about it. I'm like, a nasty day like today, you got a buyer who is not going to write a strong offer, and you got to show them 15 houses.
You still have to go show the houses. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like,
I would not want to be.
What a pain in the ass,
want to be a real estate agent.
Yeah. Or like weekends after work, blah, blah, blah. It's like, man,
it ain't easy.
You truly have to have like a completely open schedule and know that anything could happen.
Well, I didn't get home till 10:30 last night. And, I've been up and working since about 7:30 this morning. And, I'm not saying that to brag or to sound cool or anything, but like, that was what the job required last night, is that, I was showing homes until about 6:30. And then I had more work to do that kept me at the office until about 10:30 last night. And that's just the way it is when you get into this industry.
You don't have it's not a 9 to 5, but it's a 9 to whenever. It's like if you've got work to do, you got to work, right? You might not have something at 9 a.m., but you might have something at 10, 11, 12, and you got to bang them out. So let's see here. Lauren Elizabeth, would you suggest getting into real estate at a younger age before your friends begin home buying process? what's the typical age realtors enter the industry? I know the typical age of a real estate agent is like 50 something, right, Mark?
Something like that.
Yeah. But there's I think more and more younger minded entrepreneurs are getting into the industry now than ever before. What age do you think is like the proper age? Like what
as early as possible.
Right.
That's the thing is, especially if you're a younger person, you're an entrepreneur, and you are, like we talked about, willing to hustle and put in the work and take the time to be educated and become the local expert, to be the knowledge broker in your area. It doesn't matter how old you are. And a lot of people are like, well, I'm 20, I'm 21, my friends aren't buying houses yet. Well, that's fine. You can go out and meet people that are buying houses, no matter what age they are, but your friends will start buying homes. And your job as a real estate agent is to encourage them to do so. I believe in home ownership. I've seen many, many people gain a lot of wealth through real estate. And I've seen many people start doing it at a very young age. I bought my first house when I was 23 years old. And, so I don't think you're ever too young to get into real estate. I mean, I used to have a relatively large real estate team. And I had a gentleman who worked for me who was 18. And he was very successful. He was very polished. He was a very hard worker, and he did very well. And I believe he's no longer with my brokers, but I believe he's still in real estate and having a successful career.
That's awesome. Jeff Hambright is curious what your gentleman's thoughts on potential war in the Ukraine affecting the rate market. I think a very Brexit-like effect on rates. If we go to war, I don't know what that's going to do. I mean, if you go to war, what do you think that's going to do to rates, Sal?
Hard to say. I think it depends who gets involved and what's involved, right? I mean, I don't think like we'll ever be like boots on the ground. If anything, war is probably the most profitable business that the U.S. could get into. I mean, if you think about it, selling all their arms and equipment. I mean, yes, will it affect the markets for sure, but I mean, kind of like, Snowmageddon thus far. And I'm not saying, right, that it's not going to snow a lot or that we'll go to war with Ukraine, right? But
right.
I think it's just a lot of, media hype with the Ukraine thing right now. And, at first I was like, man, it's going to happen. But Russia's like, no, dude, like, we don't want to go to war. We got our own little thing over here. Why are you poking the bear?
Right.
US,
right.
But who knows? I mean, all I'm reading is what I see on the internet, right? So truth be told, I don't know. I guess it depends on how big of an issue that would be for actual, the actual mechanics of how big we get into the war, right? And what that does to the rate market. But I think that there's other things like, Fed rate hikes and whatnot that truly will have a much bigger effect on what happens this year with rates.
I agree with that.
I'm not touching that one. That would be a fly ball right field, not deep. For me.
Not deep. Now you're out. You're out on that one.
I mean, everything I said has zero validity to it. Right? It's all speculation, right? So anything I say can't be put on record as, my thoughts. No. But I mean, shooting from the cuff, right?
Yeah. Mark, what's in store for Mark Shaftner in 2022?
I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. Just working hard. Working hard for my clients, both buyers and sellers. And, for me, it's really about customer service and being an educated broker and providing value for my clients. So for me, it's really doubling down on being the best advisor that I can be. And, I don't focus as much on, I want to sell 15 million, 20 million in real estate. I focus on less number-oriented goals and more customer service goals. I want 90% of my business to come from repeat and referral business. And that can only happen through providing amazing customer service, having knowledge, in providing that for my clients. So that's really my focus this year, is just doubling down on being the absolute best real estate agent and the go-to person in the areas in which I do business.
That's awesome, man. That's really awesome. Let's do 3 questions and we'll let you get out of here, Mark, because you've been such a great guest today. You guys got any questions for Mr. Mark Shaftner?
I mean, how many questions have we not asked him already?
I don't know. We
Won
do
quite
this.
a bit.
Yeah, he's been on a few times.
If you could have, any car to do your job with, right? Any car. And you got to think about all the implications, what clients think, whatever, right? What would it be?
Yeah, I love American cars. Like I think it's just kind of like being a Michigan boy, born and raised here. And it's funny, my girlfriend drives an Infiniti, and like I just let her. I'm relentless. We were watching what's the show with those people out in California? It's a show about wives out in California on HBO.
Real Housewives of
No, it's
something
not
different.
Sunset or something.
Big Little Lies. Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies.
And and it's very, very wealthy moms out in California, Monterey, California, and one of them is driving this beautiful Buick Aviator, and I'm like, oh, look at her Aviator. Oh, that's very nice, And there's all the other ladies are driving whatever, they're driving Range Rovers or the G wagons. I'm like, ooh, how nice is that Buick she's driving?
Yeah.
So for me right now, man, just like that hybrid Denali truck, that's got me written all over it.
Yeah, I like that. All right. Next question. If you could only wear 2 articles of clothing for the rest of your life, what would they be?
Just like I only have these 2 garments?
Yes.
Or like I can wear like the same garment.
You could wear the same garment over and
Probably
over.
white tee and boxers. I mean,
a onesie and a hat.
I gotta go real big a comfort then. I would probably want a very comfortable but loose pant, right?
and
Totally be going commando under there, and then like a nice t-shirt. They would both probably be black.
Yeah,
that's kind of
your thing.
You'd Steve Jobs.
Yes. Yeah, very Steve Jobs.
I put this pocket square in. I'm surprised I put that in because I thought it would be a conversation piece today.
The pocket square. No, we don't really notice what people are wearing on the show that much. This is
going to get some sort of
man.
Honestly, on my screen, it kind of looks like just have sunglasses tucked in there. I don't know.
Could have been.
Let's see here. Next question is, if you could live in one decade other than our own, what decade would it be?
Ooh, I like this one. I would probably be like a 70s disco,
The disco era 70s, not the free
man.
love part of it, just so late 70s.
Free love. Yeah, free love. And they said, I'd be 74 to 79. I would be super freaking cool.
Yeah.
I'd have a disco room in my basement. Not that I have that right now or anything, but it would be really, really cool. I'd be hanging out at Studio 54 and, listening to some disco balls. That's me.
I love it, man. Well, listen, Mark, let the audience know how they can get a hold of you, dude.
You know what? Follow me on Instagram. It's at Mark Shaftner. Go to YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. Realtors and clients, that's huge for me. Subscribe, give anything that I put on there a like. It's just, if you go to YouTube and you search Mark Shaftner, this guy will pop up. You can go to my website. It's markshaftner.com. Give me a call or shoot me a text. My number's on those places.
I love it, Mark. Thank you so much for doing the show, dude. You're always a pleasure to have on, dude.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate man. We'll see you soon. Mark's always good on the show, man. He's always good to have on. It's starting to snow, boys. So
it's
hopefully,
been snowing by me.
So we'll see.
I know we're gonna get pounded with snow. It's just
you think so?
Yeah,
I think we get less than 6 inches.
Kind of like the Ukraine thing. It's just fun to fake, but it's obviously probably not.
Probably not actually a funny thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
So-
know. But that's how it is with everything.
Everything's like that.
Someone says one thing, and there's always someone who's going to be like, "No, that's
Right.
fake."
Right. Fake news.
But, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening to another episode of Inside Real Estate. For those of you that have stuck around, thank you so much. Please go like, share, subscribe on any podcast app that you have, that you listen to us on, Spotify, whatever it may be. Go to irepodcast.com. Go to Facebook.com/IRE podcast to see us live. Otherwise, we will see you next week, and watch out for the snow. We'll talk to you next week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.
You've been listening to Inside Real Estate, the nation's top real estate podcast. Don't forget to follow us at irepodcast.com and everywhere where podcasts are available.